Now, in the fifth and final section of our lecture, we will talk about the education of deaf child. In this, we will talk about the development of speech and language, education of deaf child, and vocational guidance. The development of language and speech in the deaf child is usually manual. They use the manual communication, and this manual communication is known as the sign language. This language is specially developed for the deaf children, and by learning this sign language, to a greater extent, usually the deaf children, they acclimatize themselves to the environment, and this is the mean of communication of the deaf child with the people around them, and especially people who are in close relationships, especially their parents also learn the sign language, so they can communicate with the children who are deaf. Their siblings learn this sign language, and this can help the deaf child to grow better and accommodate better in the world. And because we cannot leave these deaf children unlearned and not fully accommodated in the society, because as we discussed in all the first two sections that there are so many risk factors, and those all risk factors can lead to deafness, and then we have so many syndromes associated with deafness. So if we cannot handle this situation, then we will end up with this disability, and children with disability that can be very dangerous for them because they don't fit in the society very well. So proper guidance of the children who have this problem, and then proper coaching of these children and education of these children is very, very important. And development of sign language help these children to a big extent or to a greater extent to accommodate themselves. These are some main signs used by the deaf children. This is like when they do this, like they need something more. So more help like this. This is they need help. Then make, open, need again. We play. So all these signs you can see, put, rub, try, work, want, close. So all these are different signs used by the children who are deaf, and this is the sign language. Then finger spelling method is also very, very commonly used method. As the sign language, finger spelling method like C, O, W's, that's how they make up the word also, and they learn how to communicate. So finger spelling method. Then there is also total communication. Besides the sign language and finger method of communication, we have total communication in which there is all the modalities of input. Sensory input like auditory, visual, tactile, and kinesthetic methods are used. So auditory by seeing, visual by listening, tactile by feeling, and then also kinesthetic means by looking at the facial expressions. That's all the sensory modalities are used, and this make up the total communication, in which we have oral speech, lip reading, and sign language. Education of deaf, we should have specialized school for the deaf children, day schools for hearing impaired children in which they learn all these different sensory modalities from sign language, spelling, finger method, and then we have all the oral methods and then tactile methods. All these methods are taught to these children in these special schools for these hard of hearing children. Then we have radio hearing aids also used for these children. Then vocational guidance, give them opportunity. Again, there are people who get to a very high levels, people who have these problems. It's important that they should be given opportunity to rise in the society, and this is usually done by vocational guidance. We should have the vocational institutes where these children should be trained. They should be trained to with some skills they can do, so they can be a better human being for the society, and they should not be neglected. So vocational guidance is very important. That helps them to learn the means of earning, and they should learn some skills that can help them in their life later on to have their normal life or normal living. So they should not be neglected, or they should not feel like left out from the other society. So that was all about our lecture, Deaf Child, in which we discussed all the aspects of deafness in the children. Thank you for watching sqadia.com.